Good morning, Eric from Bulldog Battery, head of our sales department. I'm here to talk to you about Stryker batteries. I talk about how your Stryker batteries go bad. We'll describe some of those characteristics and what to look for. As an operations manager, you want to be prepared for the inevitable time when your batteries go bad, and we want to be able to expect that. Some of the things to look for when your battery packs are going bad. Obviously, you might get decreased runtime, so you'll be using it one day. The next day you come in, you're running the batteries out in the field. You're noticing that you're getting less lifts in between charges, or possibly the actual stretcher itself is not moving as quick as it used to. If you're having to charge the battery more frequently, then it's definitely near its end of life. I don't think that can happen. They're taking them off charge in the morning, so the charger is either going to be green or flashing yellow. If it's green, that means they have some voltage. It's going to last a couple of hours. They would probably notice if it was about to die. Environment plays a huge factor on determining the battery's longevity, probably the largest influencing factor. I have several customers that actually have organizations running out in the desert or warmer climates. Their batteries are lasting a lot less than typically you'll see in the Midwest or somewhere where the temperature doesn't fluctuate, it doesn't get as hot. A few of my customers have trucks that are stored outside, so their fleet garage is actually exposed to the elements. They're out in hot parking lots. Their batteries are sitting idle inside of those vehicles and they're cooking in the sun. You're going to see those folks replacing them a lot more frequently, a lot more regularly. So if you can keep your batteries somewhere at room temperature, if you can store them where they're not exposed to the elements such as heat or humidity, that'll definitely increase their lifespan. These crews are obviously moving and grooving. They're replacing their batteries when they're dead, when they need to swap them out. The last thing on their mind when they're answering 911 calls, when they're responding to something critical that they're going about their day, they're not going to be careful with the batteries. They're going to get dropped. They're going to get bumped around. So we do make sure when we're resealing our batteries, we're making sure they're just as durable as the OEM, if not more. If you're leaving that battery on the charger indefinitely, the chargers are designed to shut off. They are smart chargers. They do correspond with the smart battery itself. However, chargers can go bad. There's actually a pretty rudimentary fuse inside those chargers, so they do go bad more than you would think. As you probably know, if you are an ops manager, you've probably replaced several chargers over the years. So I wouldn't recommend leaving them on the charger, especially if they're your spare batteries that you're just letting sit idle for backup and you kind of forget about them. You have them on those chargers. Not a great plan just because those chargers can go bad. They also do generate heat over time. So as the charger is turning on and off, when it detects that the battery is discharged and cuts back on, it's going to keep heating that battery consistently over time, which is going to decrease its lifespan by a little bit. Another thing that I always love to mention, just like any battery that you're used to, any chemistry of battery, so a car battery, a cell phone battery, there's no battery that you want to let sit dormant. A battery is just a vessel of energy. It needs to be replaced. That charge needs to be replaced on it periodically. So every 90 days, if it's just a battery that's sitting around, not being used, you still want to make sure you charge it up occasionally, and that'll definitely increase the lifespan. Most of my clients will tell me when they need batteries, they've come in from a night off or a day off out of the office. They've walked in and they see several dead batteries on their desk. Their crew has had them on charge all night long. They're flashing yellow. They're not taking a charge. They know there's an issue. It's time to get those batteries replaced. The only thing that the ops managers are going to notice is that decreased runtime. Typically, there's not going to be a whole lot of warning. There's unfortunately nothing that the battery itself is going to tell you when it is time to be replaced. If there was something that would be a little more useful where they would be able to know that, it'd be easier to plan for. However, without something like that in place, you're going to just have to plan to have these batteries replaced on your own. The runtime is really going to depend on the use. Obviously, if you're only lifting several patients a day, opposed to a high volume call operation where they're lifting multiple patients, they're having multiple calls every day, there's not going to be an expected runtime. However, that battery should last you most of the day, no matter who you are. So if you're seeing that you're charging it multiple times a day, that battery is probably near its end. So if you don't have spare batteries, if you're just running off of enough batteries to keep those cots running, obviously you don't have a plan B. So if you're seeing that your batteries have just died right out of the blue, your teams are down, that cot is down, you're not gonna be able to run that truck, those costs are gonna hit you in the end. So it's wise to have a backup plan and have your batteries ready to go when you need them. So, as somebody that handles your fleet equipment, no matter what your job title is, you know that it is wise to have a schedule to replace stuff before it goes bad so you can plan ahead. If you're a busy operation, multi state, you have 50 to 100 trucks, you've got large crews, you need to plan ahead because you can't be scrambling to have that equipment replaced at the last second. If you're a smaller operation, it's probably going to be easier to track when you need to replace your batteries. You can probably get away with replacing them on a set schedule, either annually or quarterly. Busier operations, however, they do intend on purchasing batteries almost every month, if not every other month, just so they can keep on a set schedule. I do deal with a lot of people that just call me when their stuff goes bad. I'm sure that's not a terrible way to go about it, but there is a better alternative. So everyone's going to be a lot happier when things are moving smooth. So if you can plan ahead, if you can get on a set schedule, we do recommend it. In closing here, some signs you want to look for when your batteries are going bad and why it's important. You want to make sure you're replacing these batteries before they go bad. You don't want to be scrambling at the last second trying to deal with the logistics of having to get the batteries replaced, ordering batteries, getting them shipped back to you, the downtime that it might cause your fleet or your employees. You don't want to see that you're down equipment that's necessary to your daily operations. So let's make sure we're getting those batteries replaced and you're paying attention to the signs. You start to see those batteries slip on the runtime, you're charging them frequently, that they're flashing yellow on the charger. You don't want to see that happen. You want to make sure you're getting in front of the curve and you're replacing them ASAP. Thanks for your time today. Again, I'm Eric from Bulldog Battery, the head of our outside sales. I'm our liaison for EMS and medical transportation. I appreciate you listening. If you have questions or concerns, if you want to discuss anything at all, you're welcome to reach out to me at any time. My direct number is 607 600 3001, or just shoot me an email anytime you'd like. It's Eric, ERIC, at bulldogbattery.com.